I'm Kate.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Sonya.
And today we're dishing with you from the Mayflower's Cafe Promenade. It's located in the Mayflower Hotel, obviously. Today we're having high tea. They serve tea here every day, but if you want to have the royal tea for $34 or a regular tea for $28, you can come here any day and at the Cafe Promenade have a great tea.
Have a great tea, and then go home and do a little snuggieing. Our guest today is Megan Morrison. She has written sort of a guidebook, if you will, called the Snuggie Sutra. Now, see, I always say this, I'm Indian, so I know what sutra means.
That's good.
So, tell us a little bit about what the Snuggie Sutra is, if we don't know what the Kama Sutra is.
If you don't know what the Kama Sutra is, you have some research to do. Once you figure that out,
first get out of a rock, from under a rock.
Go Google it, and then you can figure out that it's basically everything you can do in the Kama Sutra, you can do in a Snuggie, thanks to our handy illustrated guide.
Which is sex. We're talking about sex,
yes,
right?
Yes, we are talking about sex.
This is,
in very interesting positions.
I'm putting it out there,
And you're not blushing.
I know, it's early.
I love it.
Okay, so you didn't just take all of the positions from the Kama Sutra and figure out how you could add a Snuggie. You actually created Snuggie positions, right? So how did this come about?
I'm not sure I should admit to any of this, but I have a book. So I was actually at a party in DC, and Snuggie came up. I don't know if it was cold or it was just that Snuggie was everywhere, and I kind of got this idea, and the next thing I knew, I'm like kind of pantomiming all these things you could do in a Snuggie, which I'm sure everyone else at the party probably also remembers. And I was like, you know what, this should really be like a website. It started as a website. And so I called my friend Lex, who does great hysterical internet comedy writing for a living, and seemed like the guy to call to help me out with writing this, and then we had a website.
How many positions?
There's 100 in the book.
Oh, just good. So just an even 100 to work off of.
Exactly.
And
how long will it take?
Well, it's and do you
that
have
depends
to?
On you.
You have to get a Snuggie.
You have to have a Snuggie.
And some other props sometimes.
Now, they're not officially affiliated with Snuggie.
True.
Yet. But if you're a Snuggie rep and you're out there, there's no reason why you shouldn't be, because it's a great idea.
Can you imagine this though? Like they show this, like the commercial for Snuggies, they show them like at sports stuff like that, and sporting events, and they're all wearing the Snuggies and stuff. Can you imagine if you could use one of these things in there at the sporting event? That'd be great.
Actually, we have a football position, so we did imagine that.
There's a football position.
I swear to you, I did not read this yet. I did not read it.
Okay, so you got to tell us about a few of these positions, because everybody is wondering about a few of these positions. So
should I just choose one at random?
Yeah, choose one at random.
Choosing one.
The one with the crease.
The buffet.
Now, let's the buffet.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is number 37 for those of you following at home.
Tell us about the buffet.
Well, we do have kind of a whole series of table-themed Snuggie positions. The one that's our logo on the website is called the tablecloth. I believe it says it's just not a Thanksgiving without stuffing.
Oh my God.
And so once we had opened that door, we had a whole range of table positions that we could get into, like buffet and...
So how did you get into the table as a concept to begin with, and then from there obviously extrapolate into the specific
Because they like
positions?
it everywhere.
Yeah, I guess the thing is you have to come up with 100 positions. You kind of
that's my point though, because there's so many, there's almost, not saying infinite, but close to infinite. So how did you even decide to do table versus chair and seat?
Oh, I'm sure there's chair. There's chair. So, okay, we just picked one at random, but do you have a favorite?
I really like one called the Drunken Sailor.
Oh, that's also very funny.
I can never remember what number it is, but if you try to picture this girl is laying on her back, and she's got her legs in the air, and he's kind of operating them like a boom on a ship or like a steering wheel, and that just cracked me up while I was driving.
While entwined.
In the Snuggie.
Well, the Snuggie is an integral part of each of these.
I have a question though. How do you each individually have to have your own Snuggie, or is it one big Snuggie?
Good question.
That you share?
You can do every position with one Snuggie. There is a chapter on multiple Snuggies and multiple partners. So if you get really adventurous further back in the book, you can buy as many as you want.
That is so cool. I love how
your day job is what? Working at...
I'm a graphic designer, and I work for a very normal PR and public affairs firm, and luckily I know how to illustrate, so...
So you did the illustrations,
yes,
and some of the positions, and a little bit of the copy for this book.
Have they been tried? Have all of these positions been tried out to make sure that they're, whatever, doable?
I'm a goal-oriented person, so maybe I'll get there. We'll see.
Can you tell us which Snuggie position was your fave?
I don't Snuggie and tell.
She doesn't Snuggie and tell. Do people write in and tell you now that this book has been out for just a little bit, but I'm sure it's been purchased mightily. Can you tell, do people write in and say, oh, I tried this one, let me tell you, if you alter it this way, and you do, I mean, have you started thinking about Snuggie Sutra too, with other people's ideas?
Yes, and actually on the website we do have like a whole user submission section, because even when we started it, before we opened up the submit, we were just getting emails of people sending in crazy ideas, so we would illustrate
and like pictures and videos? Oh no.
Yep. Yeah.
How does one take an idea from, I'm assuming, a drunken party, and take it to a website and then get it into a hardcover book?
Well, the great thing is that I know Lex, and Lex does the internet for a living, so when I told him I had this idea, we came up with like 15 positions, we put it online, we sent it to all of our friends, we didn't send it to our parents, and then we just kind of forgot about it for about 2 months, and then about 2 months later I logged on to, like, I think Jezebel or Huffington Post, and there was my picture, and there was a little write-up about it, and then Conan O'Brien mentioned it in his monologue, and then actually the Snuggie did a fashion show last year at New York Fashion Week. And so New York Times wrote about it then, and that's kind of when like the literary crowd heard a little more about it.
How long did it take for you to finally come to fruition in terms of getting all 100 positions?
That was kind of a, I mean, this
was a labor of love.
You say infinite possibilities, of love. Yeah. But when you're at like 70 positions, you have 30 more to think of, it starts to seem like an awful lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does.
Maybe about 6 months altogether to get the whole book wrapped up.
That's brilliant.
And maybe more than that to try them all out. Or not. You can let us know. Megan, thanks so much for being on with us and telling us about the Snuggie Sutra.
There are 2 books, so the 3 of us will fight over them later.
Too exciting to try or not to try. You let us know. If you haven't, if you have your copy of the Snuggie Sutra and you want to tell us what you like about it, feel free to tell us on our Facebook fan page, facebook.com/thedistrictdish, or tweet about it at @thedistrictdish. And as always, you can write about it on the Snuggie Sutra's website as well. But we'd love to know. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you here next time right here on the District Dish.